Innovating for tech opportunities across the Commonwealth. Collaboration within the tech ecosystem offers a clear path to improved entrepreneurial opportunities. It's time to examine the long road to building stronger ties across the Commonwealth. Lord Marland, Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council.
Well, good morning, everybody. I normally get an applause when I walk into a room, but you all seem to be half asleep. I want to liven you up a bit. Liven you up, wake up. The other thing that happens when I come into a room, a lot of people leave it, so just stay where you are, and the money I gave you earlier to hang on will be good. I woke up this morning, and my big struggle was not what speech am I going to make, but whether I should wear a tie, or whether I should wear a suit at all. And then I look around the room and I see everyone's wearing suits and some are wearing ties, which I can't believe in a blockchain, modern, vibrant conference like this, that you're all wearing suits. Not all of you, but some are wearing suits. I long to be like Steve Jobs. Most ex-politicians do as well. They like stand on stage in jeans and a t-shirt and make a speech. And so I sort of kind of hoped I might be able to do it today, but I was advised against it. Anyway, what a pleasure it is to be back in Malta again. Malta, 2.5 years ago, was chair in office of the Commonwealth, so I spent quite a lot of time coming here and making speeches. We had the Commonwealth Heads of Government Conference here in the Commonwealth Business Forum, which I chaired, which had 1,000 delegates from across 80 countries in the Commonwealth here gathered in Malta. And it's not only a pleasure to be in Malta because it's such a great country, but to be in Malta, a country that is ahead of the curve in terms of establishing regulation, establishing a structure for these modern technologies, blockchain, cryptocurrency, etc. And I applaud the Maltese government for the example they're leading and the steps they're creating and the infrastructure they're making. And the other thing that's a pleasure for me as someone who is fundamentally anti-establishment is that I'm amongst people who believe in globalization, who believe in connectivity, and who believe, to a certain extent, in disruption. The world is ready for disruption in much more shape and form than it currently is. It is being disrupted. It's being disrupted in lots of bad ways, but it is in the shape that it is in a place now where disruption is going to be the key word of the future. As we'll see through European elections, which are happening now, as we'll see through a series of elections that are happening across the world, disruption and the rebellion against the status quo and the ponderousness of most governments and the straitjackets of most governments is what this is about. So I am so pleased to be here in a room of disruptors, of people who are pushing the new barriers, who believe in connectivity. And of course, the governments themselves are currently embarking on a program of containment, of how to contain this great globalization and this connectivity that's coming through the new forms of media. And one of the reasons they are doing this is because they can't really understand how this has all happened. It's caught them asleep at their watch. They've been unable to control hacking, for example. They've been unable to control cyber hacking and cyber security. They've been unable to provide it. They've been unable to come to terms with the fact that if, for example, you're Germany, the gross domestic product of Germany is the same size as the market cap of the combination of Google and Microsoft. And that is an extraordinary thing, that these two companies combined will be the same size of the German GDP. They're also unable to control it because if any of you who are Chelsea supporters or general football supporters would be amazed at this statistic that there is a player called N'Golo Kante who plays in the centre of the midfield for Chelsea. There are a number of other players like Sanchez, etc., who play for Man United, who pay more tax in the United Kingdom than Microsoft, Google, Amazon. And this is an extraordinary problem that governments are having to try and contain with. So the framework of initiatives within this space are going to be very important for the future. And it's particularly And an organisation like ours is going to be incredibly important for the future, because we are not a government. We're an assembly of 53 countries who have committed loosely to a progress and a platform and a connectivity that brings together the countries so that they can share and participate in connectivity. Our organisation is in a very sweet spot, which brings together business to business and business to politics. And these are quite rare institutions, and so has great prosperity in this new emerging world. And because of our contacts, and because of the nature of your business, and the importance of it now for a new economy, our organisation is going to play a much greater role in supporting your endeavours. The Commonwealth, for those who are not familiar with it, is 53 countries, a third of the world's population, one of which has just been had its election, which is India. 900 million people voted in the Indian election. Another of the countries is Nigeria. Nigeria, by 2030, will have a bigger population than the United States of America. These are two vastly increasing nations where management of their people and converting their economies into an economy that can cope with them through modern techniques is going to be absolutely vital. The great advantage of the Commonwealth, and it is proven it is 19% more competitive doing intra-Commonwealth business than not, is that we all speak English. It is one of the rules of the Commonwealth. We all have the same rule of law, which originally is British rule of law. We all have similar education systems, and we have similar structures and shared values, a lot through religion and through missionary services, but there are shared values throughout these 53 countries. Not least, of course, our understanding of the games of sport, most of which are played intra-Commonwealth. So it is a great diaspora for you to plug into. Why is it a great opportunity? Well, the opportunity lies not only in its population growth and the fact that it is a democratically elected, there are democratically elected countries, which is another key underpinning point of being a member of the Commonwealth. It is because they have diverse currencies. Many of them do not have correspondent banking, so are in desperate need to be able to trade a currency which is often very weak and often is subject to the vicissitudes of the financial markets. And so being able to have currency platforms where they can trade on a global basis is going to be a very important factor for them. They also have primitive health systems, a lot of them. Getting information out to the 900 or 1.3 billion people of India in terms of modern health techniques, modern nursing, and even giving birth, how to give birth if you're out in the middle of Africa and you have a problem giving birth. Being able to tap into obviously social media to find out how to do it, but also to tap into a revolutionized health system which blockchain will provide is going to be a remarkably important thing for these countries. It is going to be fundamental to their growth. And throughout all this, there is underinvestment by government and their governments. Often corruption is involved. Often the investment comes by way of China, which comes in and leaves quickly because it doesn't give the skill transfers that are necessary to regenerate an economy or enhance an economy. So these are the sort of things that when you wish to go into these countries, you should consider taking with you as part of your initiative. I was much interested in a talk earlier which was about crowdfunding. Well, if you can take that crowdfunding point to some of the emerging markets across the world, you will bypass the staid and often cautious approach that is applied by many of the investment houses across the world. And the opportunities are absolutely fantastic. If you consider that Nigeria does not have, for example, a tech hub, has a certain amount of experts in technology but doesn't have a tech hub, it doesn't have a blockchain system like Dubai is going to have by 2020, where the whole of government is run on a blockchain system, the opportunities are absolutely phenomenal. There are, of course, in all these things, problems. There are problems with payments, there are problems with the application of the rule of law, even though you will understand it. There are problems with who you establish as a partner. But through a trusted organization like the Commonwealth, we can help you understand in a better way what the best techniques and the best people who to trade with. But as you can imagine, with a third of the world's population, the opportunities are manifest and manifold. So with that, I leave you hopefully with some thoughts about the opportunities. It is all very well being someone who is supported by, who understands globalization, who understands connectivity and the network of it. But unless you offer it, unless you go to these countries and help them and support them with it, that connectivity will fail. So my plea to you all in this room is get out there, go and visit, and any help we can be, we will be there at your side. But the ultimate plea is in the words of a well-known advert in the United Kingdom where he says, "I gamble responsibly." The most important thing is that anything you do, if you are going to get the approval of governments, is that it has to be done responsibly. And that's why, coming full circle, I think the government of Malta, in establishing this framework and being the first of one or two countries that have established framework, that leading the example throughout the world, not least the Commonwealth, of how businesses like yours can foster in an ecosystem is a great opportunity, and we owe them a huge amount of thanks. So thank you all very much for sparing the time.
Well done, sir.